I say it may take some time to find what you're looking for. I swear I never wanted more. Yeah, I say it may take.
Hey, what's up guys? It is Lindsay Grace. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome. There was a leaf outside my window. But today's video is going to be a little more serious and personal. But like I said, I wanted to bring more of my faith into my YouTube channel. And so today I'm going to be sharing my testimony. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So to start, I did grow up in a Christian family. I have always gone to church. I've always been in church every single week with my parents. They've always been really involved with like choir because they both sing, and then my grandfather's a preacher, my granny like treasurer of her church. So I grew up like that, so I was always surrounded by it, and it was like I've never known anything else. So when I was 9 years old, I don't remember exactly what triggered it, maybe something at church that morning or just I don't know. I started asking my dad questions on the way home from his house. We were driving down the interstate and I started asking him questions. We ended up pulling over on the side of the road, and my dad led me to Christ that day. I was saved. I asked Jesus into my heart. Not much changed because like there's not too much a 9-year-old can really do. So I didn't really have any problems with anything until around 8th grade. When I was in 8th grade, nothing against the church I was at or the youth group I was at. I loved my youth pastor. I loved a lot of the people there. It just didn't feel right, and I didn't feel at home in that youth group. And so my friend Allie, my best friend, she actually invited me to go to her church, and I started going there on Wednesday nights, and when I stayed with her, I would go there on Sunday mornings. And eventually, before my freshman year, my family ended up moving there with me. So me, my mom, and my little sister all joined the church. And since being there, I have grown a lot more just because I do feel a lot more comfortable and welcomed there. And it's just a lot better fit for me. The problem was like not having friends at my church with me. And I realize now that that's kind of silly that like you're not there for friends. I get that now, but being in 8th grade and being like as shy as I used to be, that was a really big problem for me, and I needed people around me to encourage me and stick with me all the time. Okay, so far I'd say that 10th grade year has probably been the hardest year and the time that I struggled the most. I started hanging out with different people, and I wasn't hanging out with the people that had always been my best friends, and I was talking to different guys, and I was just putting so much worth into these other people, and I wasn't focusing on Jesus as much. Even though I wasn't really doing the things all my friends were doing, I was still surrounding myself with those people, so it was giving other people the idea that I was, and it was affecting me negatively, even though I wasn't doing those things. So it just kind of made me really lonely and upset a lot of the times. If you ask anybody that was in classes with me 10th grade year or friends with me, they would tell you that I was literally always crying. It was a messy year. I just wasn't living my best life. So last summer, the summer of 2019, the summer after my sophomore year, before my junior year, I ended up going to a girls' retreat that my youth group did, the girls in my youth group. And the normal girls in my grade that I normally hang around, none of them ended up going. It was a little out of my comfort zone. There were 2 other girls my age, but I hadn't really hung out with them too much. And then I was surrounded by a lot of the younger girls. And so being at that kind of showed me that I was like one of the older girls in the youth group now, and I needed to really step up and be a leader for them. I got a lot closer with them and went to a camp called Generate. And that was also kind of strange because me and my friend Anna Grace, she was the only one of the people that I was like closer with that went. But even then, me and her weren't super close. We're never super close. And being at that camp together that we stayed up all hours of the night talking and like spilling out our entire hearts to each other, and we became really close. I'm super grateful for Generate because I would not be as close to Anna Grace as I am without it. From Generate, we had small groups, and there were like, I was separated from the people that any of the girls. I got put in a group. You had one other person from your church, and I was put with this boy named Carter, and like we know each other, but we didn't really know each other that well. So we were put in there together, and I ended up being the oldest girl in that group. Most of the girls in there were 8th grade and 9th grade. I ended up becoming friends with a group of girls from Louisiana, and they were all younger than me, and I spent that week leading them and talking to them and getting to know them and praying over them. That was another time where I was like, okay, I need to start being a better leader because there are girls looking up to me. And I still talk to a lot of those girls now. I love them to death. That week I ended up doing things I wouldn't normally do. I've always been like speaking and praying in front of people, so I ended up doing that for my small group. And then at rec I stood up in front of the entire camp and like answered something, but it wasn't like, and that seemed like such a small thing, but for me that was kind of like a whoa. Way out of my comfort zone. So after going to those two things, what I said about the friend groups and things, I started to realize that I kind of didn't really want that for myself, and I was kind of struggling with what I wanted to do about that because I was still hanging around them. And then I went to this church camp called Super Summer. It's a church camp, it's a leadership conference, and I went to it. And I was really struggling with the friend thing, and I asked my small group to pray about it. I asked my friends that I went with for church camp, the people I was rooming with. I was praying about it, and then at one of the sessions in my school, Silver School, we ended up talking about like, characteristics of a leader. That's what it was, characteristics of a leader, and integrity was one of them. And he talked a lot about how you can't be divided in anything, and he talked a lot especially on friend groups, and eye-opener for me, and I realized that God was talking to me like, you've got to start doing something differently. You can't act this way with certain people and this way with a different group of people. You have to be the same person no matter who you're around. And I decided that I couldn't be divided anymore, and I kind of had to distance myself from certain things, certain people. And it was really hard. It sucked. Things are different now, and I'm different, and I made new friends, and I got closer again with people that I kind of drifted away from. And it has a lot to do with how I chose to focus on God and surround myself with those kind of people that encourage and push me towards Christ every day. After that, I've done pretty good this year. I've been really happy and just felt so free because I have been focusing on God a lot more. It's like weight was lifted off my shoulders that I didn't even know was there. Another little silly thing that kind of helped me to grow this year is TikTok. That might sound crazy, but I always just kind of made whatever TikToks I wanted to make. And then we had D-Now in January, and I posted a TikTok, and it kind of went viral. It was a Christian TikTok, and I was like, I got all these new followers that were watching me because I made a Christian video, and I got, like, that's the video that blew up, and I was kind of like, okay, God, I see what you're saying, and show people that instead of doing all these worldly dances and TikTok trends and that kind of thing. And I actually grew a lot more because of that, because I was focusing on making more Christian content, and it wasn't just for TikTok. Like, it ended up being something that I love to do, and that's helped me to grow a lot more. I have a lot of problems with fear and anxiety, and so one thing I wanted to work on more this year in 2020 was trusting God more and just not worrying about what my plan is, because it's not as good as his plan. And so when Corona came around, that became a lot more prominent and harder than I thought it was going to be this year, because there was so much unknown and things that we didn't know about, and the fear of a pandemic, a global pandemic. So Corona made that kind of harder, but it also helped me to grow in my faith a lot more. I spent a lot more time on my own, and I had all this time at home to focus on God and to study his word, and so I've grown a lot more through that too. So as of right now, that's where I am. I've been kind of upset with things being canceled, like our church camp, Generate Camp, I was supposed to go to that again, and Super Summer, I was supposed to go to that again, and that's the same people every year, so I was gonna get to see my friends and just hang around the same people again, and I'm really upset that that got canceled. But I know that God has a plan, and there are things greater than me going on right now, and he knows what the purpose in all this is. I'm just trusting whatever he's got next. Oh, my neighbor's in the yard now. Okay, I gotta hurry up. That's basically where I am now. I closed my curtain. I felt uncomfortable. Lighting's not as good, but my neighbor's in the yard, so we're gonna deal with it. That's basically where I am now, and I'm hoping to grow more in the future and see what else is in store for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you next time. Please like and comment and subscribe. Bye guys.